The interview.
Here I am, sitting at the table with my business casual attire, prepared for my second job interview. I applied for a job at a local startup corporation. Hopefully, there wouldn't be much work to do. I decided to take it cool this time, learning from my previous interview. Well, that was one weird experience in my life. I vividly remember that day. Finally, it was the day of the interview. I had waited for this day like a small child waiting for Christmas. It was an opportunity for me to take control of my upside down life. I had practiced for this interview for the longest time, during which I finished reading Job Interviews for Dummies and watching all of Dr. Ross's interview tutorials. As expected, it wasn't the greatest start to the day as I woke up late. I was rushing to get prepared and hardly found time to eat my breakfast, which comprised of just half a glass of cold water. Then I went on my phone and checked the transit times. I had a choice to either take the bus in which I will arrive 30 minutes before my interview time, or the one in which I will arrive 5 minutes late. Being the wise man I am, I chose the one that would arrive 30 minutes before, as it's always better to be early. At least that's what Dr. Ross recommended in one of his videos. I was nervously waiting at my stop for the bus to come. I rarely take public transportation, but my job was in the heart of downtown Toronto, and the traffic there is always a mess. Just then, I saw the bus approaching and patiently waited to go on it.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
The bus driver said quite excitedly. He seemed very passionate to be driving a bus this early. Maybe it's his birthday, maybe he loves driving through these crowded roads, or maybe it's his first day at his job. I proceeded ahead just to find out that there were no seats left. I stood next to that rusty back door, as it was the only place which had fewer than 10 people in close proximity. Couple minutes had passed, and there I was, looking outside the windows, watching all these people walking towards their workplace, which were these towering buildings I hadn't seen previously. Then I thought, why don't I prepare a bit more for the interview? In my mind, I was anticipating how I would introduce myself to the interviewer.
Good morning, how are you doing today?
I imagined myself say, as I leaned forward about 20 degrees while maintaining a fair smile and eye contact with the employer. I pictured myself having the perfect thumb web contact with my palm while keeping my wrist firm and applying mild but firm pressure on the hand, just like the Job Interviews for Dummies book mentioned. Suddenly, I observed this charming young lady who had just got onto the bus and stood beside me. Her hazel eyes seemed to twinkle as they were full of light and joy. To me, she was like a painted masterpiece. I greeted her and said, "So, you usually take this bus?" Little did I realize that I was a bit too quiet while saying that, and as expected, I received no response. Well, that was nothing unusual, as my previous encounters with girls haven't been that successful after all. I stood next to her for the next hour and a half, trying not to look awkward, until I had realized that the bus operator had taken a wrong turn, which resulted in us being held in a lot of traffic. After all, it did seem like it was the bus driver's first day at work. No wonder he seemed so passionate. Nevertheless, I got to my destination. It was this giant building that seemed to keep on rising into the sky without an end. I walked inside the building, ran to the elevators, and went upstairs to my interview room. To my relief, the interviews were running quite late. I had a couple minutes until it was my turn. I went to the washroom, cleaned myself up, and practiced my handshake one last time before I went inside the interview room.
Good morning, how are you doing today?
I proceeded with the most awkward handshake of my life, as I messed up nearly every single component of the perfect handshake. I glared into the eye of my interviewer, as I thought maintaining eye contact was essential, until I had realized it had been a good 8 seconds of us just staring at each other.
Okay, have a seat.
proceeded Andrew, my interviewer.
So, I was looking over your resume today, and I have to say that I really am impressed.
Said Andrew, seeming astonished.
Oh, thank you.
I replied.
Well, actually, I think you're a bit overqualified to be an accountant.
That's completely okay because I don't intend to work hard. I mean that I would put in my best effort.
What are your salary expectations?
The thing is, because it's my first job, I don't really know what's considered normal in the accounting world.
Continuing on, your resume says that you are profound in French as well.
Oui. I'm fluent in French.
That is very nice. I myself have interest in French literature. So, alors, décrivez un projet de situation de travail difficile et comment vous l'avez surmonté.
Je suis un pardon. The thing is, it's been a while since I've talked in French, so my skills are kind of rusty.
Oh, okay. What are some of your skills?
I guess I'm good with Microsoft Word and Excel. I'm very determined and responsible with the ability to think analytically. I can prioritize time effectively, which helps me be highly productive.
I certainly didn't expect this question to be that difficult, but my response was more of an instinct reaction to say what I had memorized from my high school careers course, when I didn't really have any skills. But now I have a second interview to be at. Luckily, it's an online interview this time. I'm confident enough to do well. There is nothing that can go wrong in an interview where I don't have to worry about perfecting the handshake. I am more prepared than I ever was. Right then, I had received a text from my next interviewer.
Hello, this is Cameron Gibson from Statch. I just wanted to confirm that your interview starts in 30 minutes.
Greetings, Mr. Gibson. Thank you for confirming. I look forward to sleeping with you.
I texted back, not reading over my response. It was just then it struck to me. Autocorrect changed speaking to sleeping. I immediately texted back my interviewer to apologize profusely. Well, let's see where this interview goes.